Are we good? Yeah. Okay, we are live. I will call the board meeting for July 27th, 2022 to order, the regular board meeting of the Board of Education of the Community High School District 128. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag's right over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation. Thank you. Carol, can we have a roll call, please?
Jim Batson,
Here.
Kara Benjamin. Here. Don Carmichael,
Here.
Kara Drumkey. Here. Lisa Hessel. Sonal Kulkarni. Here. Casey Rooney. Here.
Okay, thank you. As noted, Lisa Hessel will not be here this evening. She had other commitments. I will be presiding this evening and review the agenda. I also want to make a quick comment and also thank some folks here, Carol and Denise. This evening, we're starting a new system, or it's called Board Docs. It's actually a method of organizing the documents related to our board function, as well as generating a workflow here for us to use while we're in the meeting, and some other features that we're going to all learn about. So if we get a little off track here a little bit as the meeting goes on, you'll understand we're all using a new system. So but thank you, Carol, for helping guide us through this whole process, and hopefully it'll be a smooth one this evening. So I will review the agenda. We have two public hearings. The first one is for a budget amendment for the fiscal year 22 budget. That will be followed by a public hearing for a fund transfer. And then after that, we'll have invitation for public comment. We'll have some good news. We'll hear our FOIA requests. We have a student recognition. We do not have a student. Okay, so we will review an update on the strategic plan. Have a consent vote agenda. Some items in the Program and Personnel Committee will be covered, and the Facilities and Finance Committee, a number of items to be covered there. And then potential reports from Illinois Association of School Boards, although I don't have anything to report on that tonight. And from Special Education District of Lake County, do we have anything?
No, one little thing I may want to
Okay.
mention.
Okay, we'll circle back around to that then. And then we have item for future agenda items, and then we will go into closed session. There should not be any action after the closed session tonight, so we'll go into closed session. We'll come back out of closed session, but we'll be finished at that point in time. So back to the top of the agenda, let's start with our budget amendment public hearing. So I call the public hearing, open the public hearing and ask for any public comment.
Can I talk about it first?
Sure.
And then, a reminder, so this budget amendment originally was put in place for the transition program because, you know, when we had done budget fiscal year 22 budget, transition program wasn't an approved project at that point. And due to timing, we had anticipated we could be spending some money out of that project before June 30th. And so just to be safe, to put some extra money there. In order to amend your budget, you have to do the same process as an approval. And it's a timely process that has to have a 30-day notice in a paper before you can do a hearing. So there's a time period you have to do. At that time, I figured I'd rather be safe than sorry, get this wheel moving. As we got closer to the end of the fiscal year, realizing with lead times and everything like that, we're not really going to be spending much money out of that project. And as of now, I do feel very comfortable to not move forward with a budget amendment. As we talked about last week in committee, I would only do a budget amendment if you really have to do it. We don't have to do it here. We've only spent about $89,000 towards the transition program at this point in time, and there's enough in other accounts that will cover that for sure. For example, our field house project came in under budget, and so that has more than enough room to absorb anything there. And so the primary reason for that was to make sure there was enough room so that you didn't go over budget, which is a legal no. But I don't anticipate that being necessary anymore.
Okay. Any questions or comments? I guess we don't have to take any action or anything. We're good to go. So I will declare the hearing on the budget amendment closed and then open the hearing for fund transfer. So we can start with, is there any public comment? Doesn't look like there's any here. Any email comments for that? No? Okay. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dan.
Yeah, just, this is the legal process by which we're allowed to transfer money, but there's 3 funds you can transfer between pretty easily. The transportation fund, the O&M fund, and the education fund. This transfer is intended to transfer $1 million from the transportation fund to the operations and maintenance fund to pay for capital projects. I would still move forward with this transfer, regardless of the previous item on our agenda. So this is still a transfer we want to do. The legal way to do this is you have to have a hearing, which is that what this is, and then you can approve the resolution. Depending on the type of transfer, there could be a different legal process to go through, but this is the process for this kind of transfer.
Okay, thank you. And so this will be on the agenda later during the facilities and finance to actually make the motion and vote on that. So any questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, we will declare that hearing closed. Next on the agenda is invitation for public comment for the general board meeting. Anyone wish to speak? Oh, hearing none. We have some email.
I do have one.
Okay.
We have a letter from John Hetzel. Hi, our daughter is an incoming freshman, class of 2026. Our other daughter will be class of 2028. The primary VHHS sign on Lakeview Parkway needs a contemporary, progressive, refreshed design and presentation. Currently, the sign and font looks like it's from a spaghetti western from the 1960s, and the branding does not reflect VHHS very well in its appearance. For all that is hyped about VHHS by the school board and community, now more than ever, it's time to polish the image and get this update in budget allocation. D128 spends a lot of money on a lot of different enhancements to the school. It's time to update the sign to reflect the school, students, and community better. My business career spans 25 plus years. The cost of the sign to update is nominal comparatively to some of the other aesthetic expenditures and enhancements by D128. It's time to better represent the school and the students. I sent an email previously on this matter to the school several months ago and received no response. I even suggested at that time, have a sign competition for the sign for the VHHS students to submit graphic design entries and then vote by students. Call it a design contest to better promote and enhance VHHS so it reflects today versus 1999 or 1969. If you truly are inclusive, let the kids design something that best represents the students for the students. Please address this email and consider the proposal. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks to that individual for sending in that comment. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is good news, and this is Dr. Herman.
Yes, we do have some wonderful good news to share. D128 Special Olympians have had an amazing summer. Earlier this month, they competed in the USA Games in Orlando, where they won silver in unified soccer. They were joined at the USA Games by coaches Andy Compton and Vince DeLuca. Shortly after returning home from the USA Games, Storm athletes traveled to Special Olympics Illinois Summer Games held June 17th to 19th in Normal, Illinois. They were also accompanied by Andy Compton and Corey Atwell. Those who received medals at the state games were Haley Dunbar, gold in the 200 meter, Hannah Creesh, gold in the 50 meter, Hannah Creesh, bronze in the 200 meter, Mackenzie Runke, gold 400 meter, and soccer team silver in the championship game. Congratulations to all of our athletes and the coaches on an amazing 21-22 competition year. Next, we have 2 staff members to celebrate. First, D128 Director of Information Technology, Mick Torres was recently honored by the Illinois Education Technology Leaders. Torres, who retires this month from D128, will receive the IETL Annual Delta Award for his contributions to promoting technology in education in Illinois. We are thrilled that this award is going to an individual that made such positive strides in educational technology, said IETL President John Connolly. D128 IT Manager Temple Murphy, along with IT managers Bo Warmbold and Eli Kelly, nominated Torres for the honor. The official award announcement and presentation were made at the annual CTO Summit held June 17th at the Wrigley American Airlines Conference Center. And next, our own Mary Toderick was recently received an honor for the 2022 Publications and Digital Media Awards sponsored by INSPRA, National School Public Relations Association. She received an award of merit for Daring 128, the podcast. Entries were judged with an entry category only against those from organizations of similar type and size. Each entry was judged on overall excellence, as well as its quality compared to other entries. The top award in each category is the Award of Excellence, followed by Award of Merit, and then Honorable Mention. She will be recognized among her peers at the annual meeting and celebration of achievement at next month's INSPRA seminar in Chicago. Congratulations, Mary.
Congratulations. Congratulations both to Mary and to Mick.
Yes.
That's a great honor. I also belong to that organization, and there's some really great leaders in that group, and Mick is definitely well deserving of that that honor. So congratulations, Mick, if you're out there. Okay, next on the agenda, FOIA requests.
Yes, we did receive 2 FOIA requests. One was for information about residency requirements. The second was for demographic data. And the third was for discipline referral data. All were answered within 1 week, and the time spent was 6 hours for our staff and 2 hours for our attorney.
Okay, next on the agenda, as we said, it's actually the president's report. I will take an opportunity just to thank everybody, the administration, the staff. This is the first meeting post the end of the school year, and just what a terrific school year under some rather challenging circumstances, especially as we began the year, and how it's really a very successful year. So I wanted to thank everybody, thank the board members, thank the administration. I think it's a well-deserved summer to reflect and be able to gear up for the next year. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you. I accidentally, the other one was a multi part, and I skipped the second one, so I apologize. The second one was requesting information related to insurance contributions, the percentage for each category of worker, and the sum total cost of our insurance coverage.
Moving on, strategic plan update.
Tonight
No,
will
I'm
be.
sorry, strategic plan updates.
Yes. I wanted to have this be a part of my update at every month, now that tonight we'll be adopting our strategic plan. And so it will be my intention every month to have whatever progress we've made or information to share be a regular part of the superintendent's report. And occasionally we'll have a bigger item in terms of there's something more substantial that would require a full agenda item. But just so you know, this will be the way that I communicate with the board on our progress. Perfect.
The motion's later in the agenda, right?
Yes,
Just
it is.
getting-
It's under P and P.
Getting used to the new system.
Yep,
there, so,
yes.
okay. All right, so we'll move on, with the consent vote agenda. Any questions or comments on this? Anything we need to, exclude? Everyone's good with this? Okay, we have a motion, please?
Move to approve the consent vote agenda.
Second.
And that was Casey? Is
Yeah,
that you?
second.
Okay. Okay.
That's right. I have to say my name, right?
Yeah,
My name is Don Carmichael.
yeah.
And I move
Remember?
to
So
approve-
as part of this new
I told you I was
process,
gonna screw it
Carol
up
is
right away.
doing some live updating of the board information, of the board meeting information, so that people can see it. So, okay, so can we have a roll call, please?
It's all right. You tell us when you're ready. New system. We're all learning. Batson,
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael,
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni. Aye. Rooney. Aye.
Okay, motion passes, and I'm gonna switch over here. You can tell how old the Chromebooks are by the battery life. Moving on, so now we're into the Program and Personnel Committee. We don't normally do anything with the summary. We have it as part of our packet. So the first item to discuss is the approval of the D128 strategic plan. So here we are again.
Yes, so last week we had a wonderful conversation about the recommended goals and about the other parts of the plan that would be helpful as guides for our work moving forward. And so I captured all of that information into the document that you see attached. So this should be a reflection of the conversation. And so if you have any further questions or comments, I'd welcome them. But otherwise, we should be ready to move forward.
I did have one question that was brought to me on the, when we look at the roadmap
Yes.
on the delimiters.
Mhm.
I think sometimes I just want to be clear, sometimes we can get educated.
Yes.
And when it says we will not make decisions without the use of relevant data provided by the appropriate personnel, how do you see that working? Is it coming from bottom up, or is it just more a vague, everybody involved in the process?
I think I read that to be everyone involved in the process, like all
All stakeholders.
stakeholders, but we can clarify that further. I want it to be very, very clear.
I just want to. I'm concerned faculty might feel like they're not a part of the process.
Okay. So how could we restate that one?
I don't know.
Okay.
And
Anyone
that's
else
why I was
have,
posing it, just to make sure that
Mhm.
it's clear that it's coming from, what is the, I mean, it seems very general. What is the data we're
Yeah.
looking at? What is the purpose of that?
Well,
That
I'm-
bullet point.
I think I remember from our conversation, that was one, Don, that maybe you suggested about a way to ensure that we have input from lots of people. So I might see if you can think of a way to make that intent even more clear.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat vague on purpose because it's an umbrella that
Mhm.
whoever happens to be appropriate
Mhm.
for decisions that would affect teachers, you would assume that they are part of the appropriate personnel. But I agree with you. I don't want anybody to feel,
Maybe
Left out.
instead of those appropriate, maybe those impacted. Appropriate input
Make
by those
decisions
impacted.
without the-
or-
We will not make decisions without the use of relevant data provided by the proposed. I mean, I see it as a funneling of the data coming from the group that is actually
Right.
doing the work, and that is the appropriate personnel.
well, the
Um,
impact is a good one because
Yeah.
that tells you that if the employees are going to have to do something differently than they're doing now, that they have a decision,
Right,
they have
Maybe
part
that
of the
is-
decision-making process.
yeah.
I'm very happy to make that adjustment.
Everything else just reflected what we spoke
Yep.
about. I just thought that one
Yep.
was kind of, it could be anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the one that was on the menu. So I was just trying to go with the
Yeah.
one that was suggested, but I wanted to capture what we believe. And so
Yeah.
thank you for that.
To clarify. Yeah,
Clarification.
it's,
Mhm.
I mean, I think we sort of understood, but to make sure it's clear to anybody reading it without the context or the background, I think it's important. So.
I think it's a good distinction. I wonder if the word relevant would actually be a catch-all that could work.
Where would you?
Relevant.
Relevant data.
Relevant.
Right.
Well, or just relevant personnel.
Oh, okay.
would-
Relevant
Mhm.
rather than
Yeah,
appropriate.
instead of
Yeah,
appropriate,
or, I mean, I think impacted is fine as well. Just that really,
I like the word impacted because really when we're making decisions and we're making plans and we're making our action plan.
Yep.
The people who are going to be most affected are the ones that are going to be a part of that process of coming up to it. So it seems like
Although-
impacted.
So my only thing with impacted is it implies it's only people who are impacted that are
Right.
part of this, that may not be
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah.
and only personnel.
Right.
When in reality, so
Students
much of
and
this is
parents.
about the students. Or the
Students, yeah.
parents or whatever. So maybe relevant
Stakeholder.
is.
Stakeholders.
Relevant stakeholder.
sure.
I
instead
see
of
Mary
appropriate
nodding
person.
and I know she's
Yeah.
an excellent editor.
She's the
So
great
we
wordsmith
will
over
make an
here.
adjustment on
Yeah.
that one to reflect this conversation. Right.
Okay.
Anything else that you would
No,
want to have
everything else is
adjusted?
great.
I don't have an adjustment, but more of a process question. So when we approve today, we are approving. I mean, in the growth goals area, are we just approving the goal today
Yes.
and there'll be a subsequent approval of action plan?
Yes,
No.
yes. Once the staff returns in the fall and we have the opportunity to engage them in a little bit more deliberation about, some of the things we brainstormed last week that could be possible action steps to take. We can't do all of the things we brainstormed on that list. So we'll be working with the staff to narrow the focus down on those and we'll bring them back with action steps and metrics that would be aligned to each of the goals. And I even remember us talking about potentially some of the things that we have brainstormed or talked about in the past. Actually, one or two actions could meet multiple goals because there's overlap. So we'll be looking for that opportunity as well.
I don't know if it's appropriate I see this as a roadmap to give to our community, give to our parents and say, this is kind of a screenshot
Yes.
of where our focus is. But I continue to go back to, we have other goals that we are consistently working on. And I don't want the message to be that we're not working on that. Is there a way? I mean, this is such an easy way to view it, and it doesn't fit on this document, but those other 5 goals of strong instruction,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't think of them off. Is there a way to identify that those are still goals that we hold as a priority, yet these are our goals that we're looking for growth? Is
Right.
that-
One
Or do-
way could be, so for example, high impact instruction that has been and will continue to be
Exactly.
an important part of our work. It will be one of Yesenia's goals. It will be the assistant principal for teaching and learning, their major area of focus. So it's not like these particular goals aren't still going to be addressed. It's just not going to necessarily be the attention of the whole district and the board on those particular 3. So I'm,
No, I understand that
Right.
completely.
but how to communicate that the other things, they're
yeah.
not just going to fall off the end of the earth. We will still have people who will be moving forward on the other areas because our data showed that there still were needs. It's just not going to be as intense of focus.
I think maybe the way I look at it is instead of trying to accommodate all those things that we know we have to continue to work on, but and trying to incorporate all the other things in here is as we communicate this, because it is a succinct document and these are the focus areas. And again, looking over at Mary being the wordsmith and being in charge of communicating this to the community, to the students, is how you how you present it and how you present it as these are focus areas and ensure that, those other things aren't getting lost, that we're not losing sight of the other important things. So I think there's a way that as you communicate it to explain that without trying to incorporate all those other things
Right.
into this document.
I don't want to get, I don't see, I would prefer it not to get wordy
Right,
because then
right.
you miss out. But if we are using this as messaging to our community, whether it's to parents, community or students, I would say quick view. Even if it's just turning around on the backside and just saying, these are the other areas of
Mhm.
importance, something to the
Mhm.
effect, because I think we're going to be questioned on, and I know we can answer that question, but
yeah,
it seems like it would head those questions off at the path at the
Mhm.
beginning
Yeah.
if they are identified as, these are other areas that we have recognized that we are strong in and will continue to develop and continue to be strong in.
Mhm. I see Mary's wheels turning already for a context part for this,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Okay, and it's, it's on the record too. People that are watching us and listening to us discuss the strategic plan now also recognize that there's
I'm
other
gonna
things.
guess
that's-
nobody's watching this.
What do you mean? It's
Somebody-
sunny
It's being
72?
recorded, right? They can always go back.
Somebody will watch it tomorrow. Okay, any other questions or comments on this? We have a motion to adopt the strategic plan as presented.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Do you have to
We
say
get
your
the
name
name?
when you
Drumkey, second.
Rooney.
follow the sheet, people? Yeah.
You don't
We
want,
are in a
you don't want me
school.
to have to bang the, okay, when you're ready, roll call.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni,
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson.
Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the dues for the Illinois Association of School Boards. This was discussed at the committee meeting, actually just last week. Can we have a motion to approve the dues?
Drumkey makes a motion to approve IASB member dues.
Second.
Seconds it.
Right, any questions or comments? Okay. Carol, when you're ready, we'll do a roll call.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni,
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next on the agenda is the fiscal year 2023 EdRed membership dues, similar thing. We discussed this last week in our committee meeting, and just need a motion to approve the dues for this year.
Carmichael, move to approve the fiscal year 2023 EdRed member dues.
Rooney, second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call when you're ready, Carol.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney. Aye. Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye. Jim, it should probably also be noted that we discussed all of these at committee, but it's not part of the consent agenda. So that we're not having a discussion about it right now isn't because we haven't had a discussion about it. It's we did talk about all these in committee.
Yeah, yeah. Next on the agenda is the semi-annual review of closed session minutes. We review these twice a year to ensure that we still consider them confidential and would like them to remain closed. So this is a normal procedural motion that we do. So actually, the recommended motion that the needs for confidentiality still exist for all current closed session minutes and those listed below, and shall remain in the closed file. So, can I have a motion, please?
Carmichael, and so moved.
Drumkey will second.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this? Oh, Okay, we'll call when you are ready.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney. Aye. Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. The next item is a intergovernmental agreement with District 68, and I believe we already have one of these in place with 73. So we're making the
And-
rounds.
Yep, and District 70 was, their board was discussing it tonight. We've already talked it at a previous meeting. And so once they approve it, hopefully tonight, we'll come back and approve. So we're working through all the feeder.
So this basically provides, facilitates sharing of data so that we can learn from each other how our students are doing. The students that come from them, we can learn from their information and vice versa. They can learn how well they've done as they progressed into high school. So, and these are things that have happened recently because of some changes in school code and Illinois law. So allows us to do this. So, can we have a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with District 68?
Rooney motions to approve the District 68 intergovernmental agreement as presented.
Kulkarni seconds it.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah, no, I can't even say it once, so I can say it 3 times.
Any further questions or comments? Again, we discussed this actually multiple times now in committee meetings. So Carol, when you're ready.
Rooney. Aye. Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next on the agenda is a intergovernmental agreement with Vernon Hills Park District.
Yeah, correct. There's 2 on the agenda for a recommendation for approval for District 128 and the Vernon Hills Park District. The first is for sharing of our facilities that we have specifically our swimming pool, and then some of the facilities that we use with Vernon Hills Park District, Sullivan Community Center, and Deer Path Park that we use for tennis practices, cross-country practices, and some of our physical education. So some of these were in place already, some have expired, and so we are updating both of these. Vernon Hills Park District has approved them. We had talked about them in committee, and so now we are voting on them now.
Okay.
And they're 2 separate because they're 2 separate agreements, because one involves the Rust-Oleum field with some money for the replacement of turf, whereas the other one, there isn't any money.
Okay. So the first one is providing joint use of Vernon Hills Pool and various park district recreation facilities. We have a motion for this one.
Benjamin, I move to approve the intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the Board of Ed of Community District 128 and Vernon Hills Park District.
Second, Carmichael.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments on this?
No.
Okay, Carol, when you are ready, roll call.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney.
Okay, motion passes. The second one is another intergovernmental agreement with the Vernon Hills Park District. This is specifically for the Vernon Hills High School Stadium. For those that may not remember or may not have been around here or involved, they actually helped us get the very first artificial turf field in that stadium, the park district that is, and through an intergovernmental agreement at that point in time. So this just continues that tradition and helps us share the cost of that, share the value of that, as well as share the cost of replacing that turf when it comes time to do so. So this is the second intergovernmental agreement. If we can have a motion, please.
Rooney
Drumkey.
motion to approve Vernon Hills intergovernmental agreement with regards to the VHHS stadium.
Drumkey seconds.
Okay, any further questions, comment? Okay, Carol, roll call, please.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney.
Aye.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We have employment of employees, a few employment items to take care of. These were not in time to discuss them at the committee meeting, so these were not included in the consent agenda. So we need a motion to approve these hirings.
Carmichael, move to approve the employment of employees as presented.
Rooney, second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call when you are ready, Carol.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney. Aye. Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Okay, motion passes. We do have one resolution for an honorable dismissal of a education support staff.
Yeah,
Right,
and I'll
maybe you
go-
can describe what that,
Sure, absolutely. So, in this position, that we're looking at, it's in our, IT department. So just a little history of our IT department over the past, 4 years and some things that we've been, working with, kind of reorganizing. It starts 4 years ago with, Bob Bartnick, who was, our manager at Vernon Hills. His, retirement, and during that time, we promoted Temple Murphy. He used to be at Libertyville High School into an IT management position. Moving Eli Kelly and Bo Warmbold into leadership positions at both schools. And since then, that we have the resignation of Mick Torres from his position. And his position as the district educational technology administrator, he has not been replaced. And what we did was then promote Temple really to our district director of information technology. And we still have our leadership positions, our IT coordinators at each school, Eli Kelly and Bo Warmbold. The departments have an office manager, one office manager that works between both buildings and the district, a technology integration specialist. We have IT technicians. We have 2 at each of the buildings, Libertyville and Vernon Hills. AV productions, we have a productions person at each building, an AV technician in each building. Video engineers that work with Cat TV and Cougar Media, Dan Treptow and Sandy at both buildings. What we do is we also had a position over the years, an AV productions coordinator here at Libertyville. And this was a position that IT and AV were kind of separate positions. But over time, information technology and AV productions have kind of merged into one department. And we really, I think through, Mick and Temple, over a number of years, we've streamlined a lot of things in both of our departments. We've done a lot of infrastructure work at both schools. And there's less project coordination that just has been needed. And so it's something that, I think Mick has been working on and just kind of restructuring the department. We're looking at that, IT and AV are all in one department. So Eli oversees that department here at Libertyville. Bo, and now they'll be working with, Temple, and Temple oversee everything for the district. So our recommendation was to eliminate our AV productions coordinator position. We don't foresee a loss of IT, services. We create some equity and staffing between both of our buildings. So that was one position that just was different here at Libertyville. This obviously, timing of it, we are eliminating one administrative position from IT and now one ESP position. But again, Temple, Eli, and Bo work very well together, and we don't see any loss in our services. When you're doing a reduction in force of a position, So it's an honorable dismissal, just like we did the honorable dismissals of our teachers. At that time, they do have rights to a position. And timing of this is something we've been working on, but we also were kind of going into the, I think the new year with, we don't have some of our recommendations for support staff of what changes there are due to other circumstances. But with this position, we do have another open vacancy right now as an IT technician. And so with elimination of this position, the person that's in that position, we can then recommend or offer the open IT position to them to move into. Again, this was, obviously a tough decision. You're looking at a position, but you're also looking at a person. And so that's always a tough decision, but we feel that it's, the right decision, for the schools moving forward. Obviously, with anything, anytime, whether it's teacher, support staff, administrator changes, we'll analyze those changes, as we go and rely on, Temple, and Eli and Bo for input as we go through the next year. So we do have to, the board has to take it has to pass a resolution on that, because you are doing a reduction in force on a position, and then it's an honorable dismissal of that person. So they will still be employed for, in that position for 30 days, in that position. And then once those 30 days are up, we'll offer the position to them. Before that, they'll make a decision. Once those 30 days are up, they can move into the other position or make a different decision. So.
And you've talked about this with Rob
Yes.
prior, so he
Yes.
knows that he's not being blindsided by
Yes.
this. You're very good about that. I just wanted to make sure that was out there.
Thank you for the
So we're
clarification.
basically moving a coordinator to a technician. Is that what
We're offering him, we're offering him.
we're
a
offering him
technician.
the technician
Then
position.
He can make a decision on whether or not he would take that. And a reduction in force. They have a one-time chance to make that choice. On an opening, and if they don't, then they don't have rights to any other jobs that become open. Somebody can always apply for jobs in the future, but he has rights to that position because we feel he's qualified for that position.
So we may see him again on the next agenda, potentially. Okay. Any other questions? I think I'm fighting a losing battle here. I keep
The
moving
sun.
over because of the sun, but we'll be okay. I'm gonna move this over here so I can see out of the glare. Can we have a motion, please, to approve the resolution?
Carmichael, move to approve the resolution for honorable dismissal of educational support staff as presented.
Kulkarni seconds it.
Okay. No further questions. Carol, when you're ready.
Kulkarni,
Aye.
Rooney.
Aye.
Batson,
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Okay, and that concludes the Program and Personnel Committee. Facilities and Finance is next.
Ready to go? Starting with the Facilities and Finance minutes from our last board meeting from May 9th. Any comments or questions or changes before those get recorded? Okay. Moving on. Closing the loop from earlier in the meeting, the resolution to transfer funds from Transportation Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund. This is the culmination of all the legal steps required to make this transfer. Dan, any comments? We have
Nope.
discussed and discussed.
Just
So-
moving $1 million from Transportation Fund to Operations and Maintenance Fund.
Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
Carmichael,
Drumkey.
move to approve the resolution authorizing transfer from the Transportation Fund and the Operation and Maintenance Fund of Community High School District 128.
Drumkey, second. Motion passes.
Nope, we have to vote.
I wish
We
it
have
was
to
just
vote.
us to
Yeah.
vote. We need to vote first.
I'm gonna
maybe.
vote no just because of that.
True. Carol.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
I don't know if it's a combination of being.
Now it
at Liberty-
passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it passes being at Libertyville or
Yeah.
the new process
I
or whatever.
know.
We're just sort of all out of kilter a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. It's like my computer keeps going in and out for some reason. I don't know. We've had an exciting day. Moving on to the budget amendment that we've decided we are not going to make this amendment, so we will move on to the fiscal year 2022 audit engagement agreement with Miller Cooper and Company. Neutral third party to audit our finances and make sure that we are doing everything we need to be doing. Any comments, Dan?
Nope.
Okay, this was also discussed in committee. Any comments, anyone? Any questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the audit engagement agreement for fiscal year 2022 with Miller Cooper and Company?
Drumkey, I move to approve the engagement agreement as presented.
Second, Benjamin.
Carol? Whenever you're ready. No worries.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey.
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to the one-year contract with Athletico Management for athletic training services for Vernon Hills High School.
Yeah, this is same agreement with some updated language from last week. 7% increase in the contract. It's a one-year agreement. This is just for Vernon Hills athletic training services. So,
Dan, can we revisit why it's just for Vernon Hills, just in case someone has?
yeah, we went out for athletic training and strength training services a few years ago. And well, actually previously, both schools had Athletico and Libertyville's athletic trainers was not what they wanted. Vernon Hills was very happy with what they had, so we went out, looked for something different and ended up deciding that Vernon Hills would stick with their trainers that are at Athletico. And Libertyville was interested in athletic training at Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, so that's where they've had. And I believe both schools are very happy with the services they have. So would it be easier if you all had one agreement? Yeah, but sometimes you don't always get what you want, but they have what they want right now and what they need. So that's why it's different providers at the different high schools because of the trainers they actually
Yeah,
have.
and I think it's important to give, especially, the trainers in the schools know their populations, and if they see different ways to meet the needs of the students with different services, I think it's important to give them that flexibility within reason as far as the finances go. Any comments, questions?
I have one. Athletico's got a list of things the clients will do, and they have a list of things that they will do. One of them originally was identified as on Exhibit A, Client Responsibilities, Item C. Client shall mention Athletico physical therapy in all press releases, radio spots, newsletters, or related materials. And I just thought that was bizarre. Because we're gonna put out, paw prints, and we're gonna have to mention Athletico on there. And it doesn't make sense to me that we would do that. And then Dan said that there were some things that needed some clarification. And so that got changed. B was eliminated or changed to, C was replaced with B. And so now it reads a little differently, but it's still, we will name Athletico as the official provider of physical therapy and athletic training for Vernon Hills High School in all press releases, radio spots, newsletters, related materials, and website. And I guess I just don't see why it needs to be that.
One clarification of what you said. So C did say what you said, and then C was replaced with the language that is standard in our contract. B was there before, and that, none of that changed. That's been the same language. So C didn't eliminate, or B didn't eliminate. So the before, oops, sorry. The before version had B with that language and C with the old language, or C with the changed language. And so then we changed C back to our standard language, but the B language is still there. So B and C were there before, B and C are still there now.
Okay,
Just, it wasn't that it got changed, C got changed to B, it was both B and C were there before, B and C are still there now.
in
The
different,
difference between a week ago and today, C has been changed, B was not
okay.
addressed.
Well, my only point is that I just don't see why the language has to say that we're gonna put Athletico on every press release that comes out of the building. If it were tightened up to say athletic plus press release, I would be fine with it. But as it's stated right now, I don't understand why that's there.
It doesn't have to be there. It
So-
doesn't have to say that. It's not.
Okay, well, that's the change I'm looking for, is a change in language that releases us from having to mention them in every press release.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not that we mind mentioning them, but this is pretty specific in all press releases. And I think if there was
You could
an
just put
adjustment,
the word may. And then it leaves it open to discretion.
yeah.
I'd
yeah,
be
either
fine
way.
with that.
Client
yeah, either
may,
way, yeah.
It does say
Include
will though.
right, right. I think that's, name B is just says name,
Right.
but you can
We-
infer it as being will name. You can't just put may and then it leaves it open up.
And I'd be
to-
fine with that.
So can we make a motion with that caveat? And before we sign it?
Or I
If
could
that
just bring this back in
adjustment, that way
July.
we don't have to come back and vote on it again?
I could just bring it back in July with updated language.
That'll be okay, timing
Sure.
wise?
I mean, that doesn't change the relationship. They're still gonna be here next year, so.
I can't imagine they would be surprised.
Does
I guess I'm
IBJ
only surprised that it hasn't come up before.
It's been in
because
previous agreements,
yeah,
so
it's
I
in
don't,
previous
I
agreements.
think that it's implied that it would be for athletic, but I understand the close read that
yeah.
you're doing of it.
I guess the big question is, how have they enforced it? Have they ever come to the school and said,
No.
you forgot to, right? Not to say that they can't, but it would be, is the same language in comparable contracts with IBJ?
Their contracts are very different. Just, you usually start with any company's boilerplates and then you modify it
Right,
2
right.
years. So yeah, IBJ would look very different.
But they don't have terms similar to that where we are required to promote them?
I mean, they'll have, there are terms of each agreement. I'm just saying it's not like a word for word
Yeah.
comparison between them. There's a lot of ideas that could be similar. This particular one, I couldn't tell you how similar or different it is off the top of my head.
Shall we table this one till next month?
You want to just make it a future agenda item to change the wording on item B under exhibit A?
Can't we just approve it if we have the word may included in
I'd be fine with that.
provision B?
Yeah.
And if may
I would
is
do
not
that.
included, then we come back. And that would take it off your table for the, you can,
Are you asking? me?
I'm
Yeah, that
asking
works
you,
for you,
yes.
Dan.
I don't. It's probably okay. I don't totally know, but I'm guessing it's probably okay.
You don't
We've had-
totally know whether procedurally this is something we can do?
Yeah,
or
like approve a contract pending. I guess it depends on what the motion is. I
wording
don't know.
change.
But
If
at
we
the end of
set
the
a
day, like this is
motion-
your meeting, so I
Yeah.
don't.
I've had experience where a motion has been conditional
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
word changes. I think, I mean,
We've
it's not
done that
something we want to get in the habit of, but it definitely is something we can do to
okay,
continue
if
that.
that's the only thing that's stopping this over,
Yeah,
so the
it just
motion,
streamlines the process, yeah.
Drumkey will make a motion to approve the contract with Athletico and Vernon Hills conditioned upon the inclusion of the word may in Exhibit A. I moved it. Exhibit A, item B. Client may name Athletico as ... Yes.
Mhm.
Exhibit A, item B. So it reads, client may name Athletico as, and then.
Second, anybody?
In the long run, that's pretty nice that that's all real time.
It's a lot of pressure from Carol. No, I was asking for a second, but.
Carmichael, second. I just bullied right in there.
Absolutely.
Inclusion of the word may in Exhibit A, item B. So it reads, client may name Athletico in public releases. That's our
Mhm.
Perfect.
So quickly.
Very impressive. Roll call whenever you're ready.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson.
I guess worst case is we revisit it next
Yeah.
month if they want different language.
But in the meantime, the amended motion passes. Okay, moving on to the contract with Quest Food Management Services. This has been the result of a long time coming, a lot of work. Better food, better choices for the students. Very exciting.
And
Any comments, questions? We have
Can the
dis-
public come and eat?
Yeah.
Kudos for
Very
this contract. I mentioned this in the committee. It is a gigantic contract that spells out every detail, and I'm just impressed with the thoroughness. And I'm looking forward to stopping by and having lunch.
Yeah, it's a good win for the district. It's better finances, it's better food for our students, more choices. This is a big win. Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the contract with Quest Food Management Services as presented?
Kulkarni, so moved.
Drumkey second.
Roll call, please.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson. Benjamin.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to the approval of fiscal year 23 treasurer's bond. This is also something that was discussed in detail in committee. This is something that the state law requires us to do. Dan, any comments?
No, just there's a new, the regional superintendent is asking for an additional certification. Going through everything last year, realizing there's a authority that he has to sign off on, and he realizes that he did not have the tools available to him to know if these were all the proper amounts, because you can bond at different levels. And so he was asking for more information from districts to confirm it's the right amount. So I listed there the anticipated high, and we always had a little bit on extra as well, just in case something weird happens with timing, so that we for sure stay within the limit. We used to have a much higher limit years ago, but that's when you had more fund balance. So fund balances are lower than they were, say, 5 years ago. So, but we feel that this is still an appropriate level to be at.
And the cost of the bond has not increased from fiscal.
Cost of the bond has gone down
Right.
as
Okay.
well. A couple of years ago, we negotiated a new rate.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the fiscal year 23 treasurer's bond as presented?
Carmichael, so moved.
Kulkarni, second.
Roll call, please.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni,
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson,
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Motion passes. Moving on to the copier lease with Canon and the maintenance agreement with Genesis. Excuse me. Dan?
Yeah, so
What is
this
it,
is the correct lease agreement and maintenance agreement for the copiers. We were able to clarify, make sure we got the right lease for the right amount of copiers. So that's there at an annual cost of the $96,000. That includes the lease and the maintenance agreement for them. All in, with what we currently have, we anticipate at the end of the day, we'll be spending about $30,000 less on copiers than historically, which is great. There were two copiers removed from this, or from our system, as we discussed last week. So that's also part of the reason why as well. So yeah, this is here for the maintenance agreement with Canon and Genesis.
So there were two copiers
Yes.
removed? I'm
Yes.
just clarifying because the board docs say 3.
Sorry, I misspoke. They had already removed one originally
Okay.
that was not there. But within the last month or two, I would say we've removed 2. So I apologize. It is net 3 that
Net
have been
3.
removed.
Okay.
One was kind of removed from the beginning. The other 2 were removed as we were working through this.
I just want to make
Nope,
sure
you're right.
it all
Yep.
matches up and
That's correct.
the lower cost is certainly welcome. Any comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the copier lease with Canon as well? We can do them both in one? Okay. To approve the copier lease with Canon as well as the maintenance agreement with Genesis.
Kulkarni, so moved.
Benjamin, second.
Roll call, please.
Kulkarni,
Aye.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson,
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to disposal of obsolete technology. We just need to approve the scrapping of said equipment on this inventory. Any issues, comments? No? Okay. May I get a motion to dispose of the obsolete technology as listed on this sheet?
Carmichael, so moved.
Second,
Kulkarni, second.
roll call, please.
Rooney,
Aye.
Batson.
Aye.
Benjamin,
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
And that concludes facilities and finance.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda are the reports. We have Illinois Association of School Boards. Now I'll just bring this up. I understand the registration for the joint conference is now open, so. Yeah, so I think all of us were around last fall when we did that, so it's a great conference, so I'm expecting that quite a few of us will have an interest in attending, so. Just wanted to bring that to our attention. And I also will mention, I met with the Lakes Division Executive Board a couple weeks ago and had a great meeting, and we're working on the speaker for the fall dinner meeting. So that's it for IASB. Anything from CEDO?
Super quick. So there was a meeting scheduled for the beginning of June that was so under attended that there was no quorum present. Which was a bummer because there was quite the agenda to be passed. That meeting was then rescheduled for this coming Wednesday, June 29th at 5 p.m. up in Gages Lake. The reason I'm telling you all this is because I did email the board maybe like 2 weeks ago or so, asking to see if anyone was available. I unfortunately will be out of town And I have told the secretary up at CEDAW that it's very likely we may not have an alternate to represent us. So unless someone on the board would be able to, sacrifice, just it takes on, it's a quick meeting. They're usually an hour at most. And it's important that we have this agenda passed so that CEDAW can continue to provide the education and support that our district students directly benefit from. So if there are any board members who would be willing to fulfill that obligation, I would be forever in your debt. And I'll buy you ice cream personally.
When is it?
It's this Wednesday at 5 p.m. I can get you all the deets. No, I know it's tough when they rescheduled it, in the back of my mind, I was thinking this is a real tough week for a lot of people, the holiday coming up,
Yeah.
so.
And I know I mean, you're very diligent at attending those meetings and
Yes,
I know
and
there are some that do and there are others that really don't, which is
right, so
unfortunate.
this was the reschedule, the night of was one thing, but the reschedule, they waited and a quorum was never reached. It's kind of it was a moment that was not so happy. If it comes to light that you are able to attend, anyone is able to attend within the next 24 hours, let's just say, you can let me know and I will inform the secretary that someone will be serving alternately that evening. Otherwise, we will just cross our fingers that a quorum is reached and that the board business is addressed.
Do they do any of these virtually?
No, they did,
mean,
I
if-
think for a while, but no.
I think they might, because they're.
I know,
I'll
I
be
could attend-
traveling, but
I could attend
could dial
virtually.
in from the,
Attend,
where I am.
Right, same. So anyhow, if anyone's plans change or if you are able to find some time, I'm happy to get you all the information you need and if not, we'll just, like I said, we'll hope that a quorum is met.
Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Okay, anything under the future agenda items category? Yeah. Okay, moving on, we have I gotta read this. We're moving into closed session to discuss collective bargaining matters, 5 ILCS 120/2 C2 and employment of employee, 5 ILCS 120/2 C1. We have a motion to go into closed session.
Rooney, I motion to go into closed session.
Drumkey second.
Okay.
Batson,
Aye.
Benjamin.
Aye.
Carmichael,
Aye.
Drumkey,
Aye.
Kulkarni.
Aye.
Rooney.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Are we staying here?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably gonna stand up and walk